Everyone other than Gary go today?
Yeah. Gary went today. Gary went today. Everybody went today, yeah.
Do you feel like there's any possibility, like, whether or not he played, that Gary will be active?
Yeah, I do. I think he'll be active, but I don't know that. But, we have to go through the 2 practices and see.
I think by the end of the day, rosters will be finalized, but it looked pretty clear. You got your team, and I'm curious, just as when you talk about the roster construction at the end, you mentioned fit and future to a degree on like how you guys determined. So just sort of what went into the guys who won the camp battle or who are going to make this 15 man.
Yeah, all those above. Fit, future. Can they help us now? Can they help us later? Attitude. The cultural piece, like the character piece. We want high character guys, and some of the guys you release have high character, but all that comes into one, and we make a decision as a whole team.
Andre brings that kind of juice, that fire all the time.
Yeah.
Is that a big? Obviously, we saw what he could do when asked. But is that part of it too? That in the practice, that sort of.
Yeah, well, this is probably as far as training camps. The evaluation of training camp was probably higher this year than for me in any years in recent memory. I'm sure I've had them, but it came down to we were going to release 2 good players, and we knew that, and we had to make rough choices because all the guys who release are NBA players in my opinion. Even our 2-ways were difficult. So it's just one of those camps that we had a lot of guys. You could see it early, and we had to make tough decisions.
I've been to the practices often. I don't think the referees are really all that necessary.
Yeah.
It's going that hard. And yet Giannis finishes 3-and-1s.
Yeah.
What can you say about this team and their willingness to compete?
Yeah, it was. I've been to a lot of open practices myself, unfortunately, and yesterday was fantastic. First of all, I thought the fan involvement was at a high level, and our guys actually played. As a coach, you understand it could go anywhere. It was great that, as I told the guys, that was a 1990s All-Star game compared to a 2000 now All-Star game. Like, we actually guarded each other, we played, we fouled, and that was good to see.
What does that say to you about this team's readiness and their eagerness to play together?
Well, I think that's what we have to be. And I don't know what it says yet, but we'll find out. Right now, we're doing all the right things. The guys are doing all the right stuff. But the season kind of starts and it tells another story, and we'll see that. But I love where what our mental approach is now. I love our leadership right now too.
It's a long season, Doc, but what does the opener mean to you every year? What do you kind of think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't actually know the answer to that. It's the start of a season, of hope. And every year your team, it depends on the team you have, what that hope is and what that goal is. And promise, and it's a grind, but I'm still at the place where I can't wait for it to start. I still have butterflies. Someone asked me last night, do you get nervous? I said, yeah, because as a coach you can't play. You can only hope that, did we do this? Did we do this enough? Do they have it? Are they prepared? Are they ready? And then you have to evaluate early in the season. Like last year we made a lot of changes from the beginning to the starting lineup and different things. Hopefully we think we have it right, but I'm sure there'll be changes we have to make. So I love it. I love opening them at home. That's always nice too.
Talking about yesterday, you kind of mentioned that you got to let referees know we're going to be a physical team.
Yeah.
And we got to get them used to it. So
Yeah.
guys aren't falling out of games.
Yeah.
But we're always going to do that. We're lucky enough that we can do that. What role do you maybe play in that? In letting officials know, like, hey, this season, like, we are going to be a physical.
Well, I don't want to say this season to them. I just want our guys to play, and it's out there. I think not a lot I can do other than fight for guys that are not fouling and they're calling fouls on. But I think how we play will dictate that in his own right. Pat Riley wasn't up there telling guys, hey, let them play. You know, his whole rule was foul every time for the first 3 minutes, and they won't call them. They'll stop. They have to. They need a game. He used to always say they can't foul everybody out. They need the game to be played. And, you know, by the third quarter, it was a bloodfest, and it was awesome. You know, we can't do that anymore. You know, they may foul us all out now, but you do have to take it to a line. You know, you have to be smart. Like the silly fouls will kill you when you're physical. Like the slaps, the fouling 3-point shooters. That's not physical. That's bad defense.
The Thunder were among the highest foul rate teams.
Yeah.
Orlando, I think, also in the top.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's something more viable than since they've made?
Yeah, the Thunder took it to a limit. You know, like I thought they fouled all the time with the arms and the slaps, but again, you can't see them all. You just called one. I'm not gonna call another one. That's just human nature, you know. The Magic were not the same. It's kind of different. Definitely very physical. Definitely the pressure. But I just keep saying we're us. We're not trying to be anybody else. I think teams make a major mistake. You know, I always talk about Golden State. You know, everybody's going to shoot threes. Well, okay. Well, you don't have Clay and Steph. Not real smart to just jack threes up. Play to the brand that you have, and that's what we're going to do.
You'll be presented at some point a unique situation to make history with Giannis, Thanasis, and Alex. I realize games dictate things.
Yeah.
Usually a two-way player, yeah, just being real, like that rarely happens where a two-way player is on the court when Giannis is. So how have you thought about that?
I don't think about that at all, honestly. Like we're focused on winning, and if any of that happens, it happens. But that I can tell you that discussion has yet to come up until right now. So that's how little I'm thinking about it.
Speaking of winning, what's it going to be like to see Chris Middleton on the other side?
Yeah.
Are you prepared for a Chris Middleton revenge game or him going on?
Yeah, well, listen, I played for 8 years with the Hawks, and I loved that organization. And you know, they told me they were going to trade me. They treated me great, and I tried to put 50 on them. Of course, I didn't have the talent to. That was the only problem. You know, well, Chris does. Chris is a great scorer. First of all, the fan reaction should be amazing. I have put some pressure on our video crew to, like the Jumbotron, whatever, all the stuff we do should be amazing. Because he's a buck for life, no matter where he's at. Pat Connaughton's a buck for life, Brook Lopez. And so we lost 3 of those guys from last year. And Chris will be the first one coming back. And, you know, the Milwaukee fans are phenomenal. So, you know, it's so funny. Of all the places, the one thing I'm not worried about is, like, usually the question, if this was a lot of other places, or you think the fans are going to boo? Of course not. They're not. We traded him. He won a title for us, and he's a buck. And he's part of this community. And I think that's what people forget most. As good as he was on the court, I thought he was a superstar off the court, him and his wife, with all the things they did for the community. And that's awesome.
Wait, so you put pressure on your own video team to make sure they didn't do what Dallas did to Micah Parsons?
Yeah. We want to do I'm just a big believer. Like, we got to do great stuff for guys. We got to keep building our culture. You know, I even brought it up last year, and last year I thought the Bud video was good. I think it should have been better. Like, make it phenomenal and make everything. These guys have given their life to your city and to your team, and we should always pay it forward and pay it back because these guys may be part of our organization. You know, when they're finished. You know, that's what great organizations do. We keep bringing guys back. You know, so, yeah, I do. On that stuff, it's got to be good. Like, it's got to be great. They deserve it.
And a later heard question, are you friends with Dave Roberts? Like, is there a story behind that?
Yeah, we golf. Or we put it like, we plan on golf a lot. We never actually get to do it much. And I got to know him pretty well when I was coaching the Clippers. So, you know, I told him, man, I can't wait to see you for Game 6. Probably shouldn't have said that. The trash talk didn't go well for me on that one.
Did he laugh?
Yeah, he replied for sure. Not much you can do, so. Right when I threw it out there, I'm thinking, it's probably not a good one. So, but as I said, the Brewers, like, I hope the fans they had an amazing year, And if you're going to lose, you lose to the most historic game in Major League history, and that's how they lost. Like, not a lot you can say.